The Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot is actually very enjoyable. Hey everybody, AAA here, and I am reviewing the Are You Afraid of the Dark Reboot miniseries from Nickelodeon that aired October last year.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
I was aware of the miniseries because I saw the trailers, but I never actually saw it because I was really busy during that time. So recently I got reminded that this miniseries does exist. But of course, one of the primary reasons that I did want to check it out was that I was a huge fan of the original Are You Afraid of the Dark TV series from the early 90s. I was still a little kid back in the day, mostly watching cartoons and things like that. But for whatever reason, the stories that the Midnight Society told were very intriguing and extremely entertaining for me, so I tried to watch as many episodes on TV that I could catch. Of course, since then, I have seen a ton of more horror, so my horror tastes have definitely adjusted a bit since then. And that is also the other reason why I wanted to watch this new miniseries reboot. I got extremely curious. I wanted to know if horror made specifically for a younger audience could still entertain me. So I know what you're thinking. It's a horror miniseries, so is it scary? I would have to say that, for me at least, that no, it is not scary at all.
We're all afraid of something. What are you afraid of?
It's probably still really scary for the primary younger target audience, but I really can't speak for them. But I can say confidently for myself that I was not scared at all at any point watching this miniseries. Many of the scares are actually also of the jump scare variety, which, having seen so many horror films, I think I'm primarily immune to them at this point. Jump scares just don't do anything for me. That doesn't mean, however, that this reboot automatically fails as a horror miniseries because it's not scary for me, because it does redeem itself in many other facets. And these facets are primarily the story and the characters.
Do you like scary stories?
The Midnight Society characters are actually very charming in this one. Primarily the main character, Rachel, who is a young girl in high school that really just wants to belong. And when she discovers the Midnight Society, she finally has that group of friends that she really connects with. And I think this sort of grounded character is someone that pretty much anyone can relate to, especially the younger target audience. The rest of the Midnight Society are well acted and they're well written, but they're primarily stereotypes. There's the handsome boy next door, there's the geek that everyone thinks is weird, there's the popular girl, and there's the mean girl. But again, they are well written enough in their nuances and they are well acted enough by the cast that I still really like them throughout the miniseries. So, while none of the events during this miniseries truly scared me, they got me genuinely curious as to how they would affect this main cast of characters that I honestly cared for. I thought the story was also very well written overall, in that the Midnight Society doesn't just tell you the stories during this miniseries. They have to actually confront one of their stories in real life, which I thought was very smart and refreshing.
You had a dream about a creepy carnival, and now the carnival is real.
Now, I saw a lot of the original episodes back in the day, but I've never seen them since. But I don't recall them ever doing this. I don't know for sure if this was the first time they did this for the franchise, but I thought it was great. I thought it was a great change. The pacing is also really good, especially for a TV miniseries. The story moves at a very brisk pace, and there are very little, if any, periods of downtime.
This is the same carnival from my story.
That smile will haunt my dreams forever.
There was really only one flaw in the storytelling, in my opinion, and it occurs during the third episode, where the main characters essentially just walk right into a trap, and in a very stupid way. Like, the trap is extremely obvious to the viewer, and the main characters are just, this is probably fine, which is very inconsistent with the storytelling, because the Midnight Society characters are portrayed as very smart, very aware, and not at all naive or innocent or anything like that. So for them to just blindly walk into this obvious and dumb trap is just, what? Why? And it's not a deal breaker for me, but it was a very low point in the third episode that really stuck out, you know? So that's kind of unfortunate.
Seriously, you gonna throw up?
I'm fine.
You sure about that?
I don't know.
Special effects are also kind of a low point because they're mostly very low budget, but it's easy to forgive because it is a TV miniseries and these things don't typically get a lot of budget anyway.
Look, if the story is too scary, I can always tone it down for you.
So again, I actually really enjoyed the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot miniseries from Nickelodeon. So I give it a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's really good, but it's not great. But I still liked it enough that I am genuinely excited for the second season that apparently has been greenlit by Nickelodeon and is hopefully still arriving by the end of this year, if it doesn't get delayed by the pandemic like everything else is. I am, however, very disappointed in the news of this second season, in that the Midnight Society for the new season is supposedly going to be composed of a brand new cast, and I'm like, why? This new cast was really good, and they only had 3 one-hour episodes to show themselves off. And I really like the characters and the actors that portrayed them, and I would have really liked to see them again in way more adventures. But hopefully this new cast is just as, or even better, than the first season cast. And this has been Asian Action Actor. If you liked my review of the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot miniseries, please click like down below and subscribe to see more of my awesome content. And while you're here, you might want to check out some of the other reviews that I have done.